Magandang gabi po, Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao. Kumusta po kayo dyan mga kabayani, mga kampi? No? At syempre isang pagbati ng maligayang Pasko sa ating lahat. No? Tapos na ang Pasko pero syempre part pa rin yan ng holiday season. At ngayon we're heading towards our syempre yung bagong taon o New Year. No? At syempre ingat lang tayo. Although alam niyo lumaki ako sa isang pagsalubong ng New Year, puro putukan eh. Alam niyo nung unang panahon ganyan, no? Mga Quitis, mga star 5 star ano sa tinitiran ko dati sa Constellation pasimuno pa ako ng mga ganyan pero alam niyo unti-unting nakikita natin yung danger niya. So mabuti na rin ang ating pamahalaan ay ni-regulate yung mga ganyang klase ng firecrackers. No? Hindi naman talagang pinagbabawal pero ayun nga ang importante diyan ay para maiwasan yung mga sakuna kasi noong mga 1990s yan talagang nakakalungkot alam ko ano pa yan naifa-flash pa yan sa TV yung mga nangyayari pag 31 ng gabi, di ba? Yung putukan. No, nung bata ako, ang palibhasa wala namang nire-regulate na ganyan Pag alam mo yung mga natirang pulbura, no? Pagdating nung 31, di ba? Yung may mga hindi pumutok na mga rebentador pinagsasama-sama yan, nilalagay sa isang ginagawang pillbox o kaya naman gilalagay sa isang mas malaking alam mo yung bote ng yung plastic ng tawag ng Clorox. Iipon lahat doon, lalagyan ng media, pasasabugin mga kabataan, mga ganoon unang panahon no. Tanda ko nung maliit pa ako hindi pa ganoon kaliit nung bata tayo no. Permanente, ewan ko meron pang permanente ngayon no. Pero yun nga hanggang sa bandang huli na pagbawal yung mga paputok na yan, bandang huli mga na lang, mga trotot na lang, di ba? Ayan ang natin no. Kaya well, tingnan natin kung ano ang mangyayari ngayon. Pero but definitely ang ating gobyerno ay regulated na yung mga bagay niya para maiwasan naman yung sakuna no. So dire-diretso lang po tayo mga kabayani no, mga kampi. Sabi ng iba, uy, Doc Manny, Disyembre ba, itong Christmas season, meron ka bang bagong programa dahil sa karaniwan nagpapahinga lahat? Siyempre po, tayo po ay hindi mapapahinga dahil sa sabi nga, ang NCP pag holiday lahat, hindi kami holiday, no? Ganun din ang kabayani, dahil sa itong darating na na 30, alam naman natin ito ang tinatawag na martyrdom of our Philippine foremost national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal. Kaya nakaraan lang nagkaroon ng meeting na ang TWG no. Maraming pong salamat sa mga umattend mula sa OP, sa DND, DFA. Ang dami mga dumating na mga yung para pinag-uusapan yung paghahanda, Knights of Rizal, kababaeng Rizalista, mga Rizalista no. Yan po ay makikita natin yung mataas na pagkilala sa ating pambansang bayani at yung paghahanda no sa darating na 30 at karaniwan diyan dumarating ang pangulo no, liban lamang kung meron siyang biglaang appointment no, kaya naman yung mga hindi maiiwasan na mga bagay-bagay hindi nakaka-attend ang ating pero karaniwan ay dumadalo ang pangulo natin diyan no sa Luneta no, at merong simultaneous flag raising sa iba't ibang mga museo, lalo na sa yung mga museo nga no ng New Rizal sa Calamba no, sa Dapitan, mga ganyan. No? Kaya yan po yung mga antabayanan natin. Kung hindi kayo makapunta sa Luneta, punta kayo mga sa Dapitan, kung malapit kayo doon, o punta kayo sa Calamba, mga malaki pong activity natin yan. Kaya nga last week na pag-usapan natin, ano ba yung mga koleksyon, no? Yung mga koleksyon ng makikita sa Fort Santiago kasi yan ay Jose Rizal Museum yan no. So ngayon naman pag-usapan natin itong napakagandang topic natin, koleksyon ni Rizal sa Europa no, at isa sa hindi siguro sa isa, talaga siya no, ang very credible no magsalita tungkol sa bagay na ito. Pero bago natin siya ipakilala, tingnan muna natin, marami nagko-comment sa ating Facebook page no, naka-stream yan dito sa ating tayo po ay live live po tayo ngayon sa Doc Manny inyong kabayani dito sa Facebook page, stream sa Facebook page no, sa TVC no, channel 8 live din po tayo at syempre sa ating CSCTV YouTube channel no. So una nag-comment si Juan Miguel Bravo, no? Magandang gabi po, tumutunghayan mula sa mula sa Silang no. Si Miller Honorio Bato watching from Benguet, non Omnis Moriar, Sir Bato po. Haribon chapter. Magandang gabi po. Ayan si Denise, Denise, magandang gabi sa iyo at alam kong meron ka siyempre yung Rizal Ako movement, no? Importante yan. Pag-usapan natin yan eventually, yung mga proyekto na may kinalaman sa ating pambansang bayani. Importante lalo na sa mga kabataan kasi usually ang natatap natin yung mga professionals, no? So dapat matap natin yung yung mga level ng ating mga kabataan. Magandang gabi po, Miss Denise. Then Ferdy always, no, tumutunghay mula sa lungsod ng Taguig at sa bayan ng Pateros. Magandang gabi po. Then Diosdado Franco, no, bagong taon. Alam ko ano to, nasa US to. Magandang gabi po, sir. Diosdado Franco. Then Ma'am Ani Sarili from Cavite. Si Ma'am Ani, no, may sarili ding YouTube channel yan eh. Wala pong audio. Naririnig niyo ba ako? Parang, ba't walang audio? Aha. Okay naman ang ating ano. Okay naman. So let's see the checking. Wala po. Paki-check po audio. Hindi ako naririnig. At anong nangyayari dito? Okay naman. The audio is okay. I think loud and clear, Doc Manny. Sabi ni from Tawi-Tawi si Sir Benji Uto. Ayan, pero sabi naman niya ay loud and clear. Magandang po sa lahat. Nasa ba si Jerome Buhay. Of course, ang aking kasama sa campus medley, no? Namimiss ko na magkantahan no? Isang araw kasama ko Sir Jovi, no? Good evening po from Mil, no, sa si ano yan, no, Singkag, no, from Tawi-Tawi. Magandang gabi po, Doc Manny, no, nanonood din sa atin, no, si Calvin, Happy New Year po. Magandang gabi po. Mayroon naman po, sabi ni Ferdy, no. So we have audio. Thank you, Ma'am Pili. Good evening po, no. Ayan, no, magandang gabi, Doc Manny. Ayan si Benji, no. Ay, buti lang napag-usapan natin to. Alam niyo po, nag-meet na nga ang ating ang ating 650th anniversary of Philippine Muslim History itong National Steering Committee. Abangan po ninyo yan, napaka-dynamic po niyan, no. Anyway, sige lang, no. Meron naman, no. So ang dami pong mga nakakamiss daw po ang campus medley. Karaniwan pag ganito nangangaroling na kami. So, then watching from London, Sir Manny, no, magandang gabi po, no, sa inyo, Sir Ronnie Dalida. Okay, no, so let's move on, no, to our watching daw po si Sir Crisanto Lustre. Magandang gabi, architect, no? Okay. So ang guest po natin ngayon ay na-meet ko siya nung 2010 when I was in Lasal, Dasmariñas, at meron po akong sojourn sa mga Rizal lectures in Europe, no, and this person invited me, no, to his house, no, to show his collection, no. Pero hindi kami nag-meet sa Belgium, kasi nagkaroon kami ng back-to-back lecture sa France, no. So when I went to Paris, France, sa embassy, no, hindi pala, nakalimutan, matanda na ako. Meron nga pala akong sorry po meron akong linkage na ginanap sa Lasal, Lasal, France, sa nakalimutan ko na. Anyway, doon kami nag-meet sa Lasal Beauvais, no, sa Lasal Beauvais, no. Then sumakay ako sa kanya, nag-drive siya going to Paris, no. Then yung gabi, meron kami back-to-back lecture sa Philippine Embassy in Paris. Then pagkatapos doon, nag-drive siya papunta sa Belgium, no, sa Iclo. Doon po tiga Iclo, Belgium po ang ating kasama. Then pagkatapos noon, he hosted me, no, sa bahay niya. Then doon ko nakita, ito pala, nagulat ako sa kanyang mga collections, no. Ang dami niyang collection tungkol kay Rizal, no. And I learned also that is all already hosting different personalities, no, and explaining about Rizal, no. So siguro hindi ko na pagtatagalin kasi mahaba yung time natin. Marami tayong pag-uusapan. Ang tinutukoy ko po ay walang iba kundi si Sir Lucien Spittael. He's a lecturer, writer, and speaker about the life and works of Dr. Jose Rizal. So let's put him in. Sir Lucien, good morning there.
Yes, it's good afternoon.
Oh,
It's 1 p.m. here, so it's
good
8
afternoon.
o'clock Filipino time. So
Where
nice to
exactly? Where are
nice.
you now?
I beg your pardon.
Are you in the house in your residence at Iklo?
I'm in the house. Yes, I'm in the house here.
Okay. Okay. I'm seeing a bust of Rizal at your back, beside the curtain, huh?
Well, I have 3 busts in my living room, so that's one of them. Small one.
So, yeah, mga kabayani, no, we are speaking to the so-called Belgian Rizalist, no, and a book was published, no, about the rediscovery of the Philippine national hero, none other than by Sir Lucien Spittael. Sir, could you tell us how your interest started about Dr. Jose Rizal? Because it's very unusual for a foreigner to, to conduct research and well, to become what you call this very interested about the Philippine national hero.
Yeah. So to start with, I married my wife, Filipina, in 1972. We went a couple of times to the Philippines, and about Dr. Jose Rizal, I didn't know anything. The only thing I had seen was his statue, of course, in Manila. And we were living at that time in Germany. I was assigned to Germany, and the first time we came back to Belgium was 1989. And I founded 2 organizations, Filipino organizations. And because I was president of those 2 organizations, the ambassador invited us to the embassy with all the other Filipino associations to talk about problems and so on. So in 1990, ambassador was okay, it's the same. The ambassador invited us and he said, it's now 1990. Next year, we have the centennial of the publication of El Filibusterismo, which was published in Belgium. So he said, you should do something about Dr. Jose Rizal. So after a couple of months, nobody did anything about a kind of celebration about Dr. Jose Rizal, the centenary of the El Fili. And then I started to read about Rizal. I didn't know anything about Rizal. So I started to read Rizal. And a friend of me, very good friend, a German friend, gave me a book, a German book, the only published German biography of Rizal. So I started to read. Then I started to translate it. I translated that book. And that was the beginning of my Rizal life. Now, fortunately for me, I was assigned to work in Heidelberg. And you know, Rizal has been 6 months in Heidelberg. That was the highlight of my start of my Rizal life, because I got acquainted with the Knight of Rizal in Heidelberg. And since then, I'm working on Dr. Rizal.
Yeah, but by profession, sir, you're an army, right?
Yes, I'm in the army, retired. Yeah.
You know, when we are working about the book Belgian Rizalist, there's a photo that you're giving a copy of I think that's El Filibusterismo to a Filipina there. Could you explain more about it? Is that in
Yes, I remember.
the Middle East?
I was assigned in I was in the
Kabul.
Belgian army, but the army Belgium. Do you hear me?
Yes, fine.
Okay.
Very clear.
I was in the Belgian army, but the Belgian army assigned me to work in the international NATO headquarters. So one of the headquarters I went to was Heidelberg. And Heidelberg was assigned by NATO to take over command in Sarajevo. So we were in Sarajevo, and as Belgium, we had to buy all we needed was in the American PX. So if you need toothbrush, toothpaste, and all the other stuff, we had to go to the American PX. So the first time I went to the American PX, I saw a woman there served us, black hair, looking Asian. But there were a lot of people, so I was not able to talk to her. Then a couple of times later, I came in the PX shop and there were not that many people. I asked her, ma'am, may I ask you what nationality you have? And she said, Filipina. I said, oh, yes. And then we talked to each other, and in the evening we had a coffee together, and we were talking about Rizal, of course. And I had a copy of El Filibustrismo in my room. So I asked her, do you know the Noli and the Fili? She said, yes, I know the Noli. I said, tomorrow I come back and I give you a copy of the Fili. So I gave her a copy of the Fili in order that she was able to read the Fili. That's the story of that picture.
That's the story in Kabul, Afghanistan. You're disseminating the novels of Dr. Rizal. Now, another question before we focus on our collections, no. I understand that you follow the footstep of Dr. Rizal, no, in Europe. When did that started, and did you really follow the footsteps of Rizal in different places in Europe?
Well, it started in Heidelberg. So I was assigned in Heidelberg in the beginning of the 1990s. And I met the Knights of Rizal in Heidelberg. And then my interest came up to follow Rizal footsteps in Germany. So I had been assigned for 5 years in Heidelberg. And I literally followed Rizal's footsteps in Germany. So every place Rizal has visited in Germany, I did the same place. I visited the same place. I visited the same place by car. Then I could go to archives to retrieve old pictures of the places, the statues, and the buildings Rizal described. And I also did the same train trip. So if Rizal took the train from Frankfurt to Dresden and Berlin, I did it by car, and I also did it by train because I wanted to do the same thing Rizal did.
I learned. I think you mentioned that to me that you also board a boat and traverse the whole the Rhine trip, the Rhine River, right?
Yes, Rizal. Well, if you read Rizal's reminiscences, you can see that he made a boat trip in Germany coming from Heidelberg. He made a 4-day trip along the Rhine, back and forth. So I've done the same time, I think, till now, 11 times.
And 11 times already.
11 times I did it. And one of the times I was lucky, the Rizal family, some members of the Rizal family visited us in Belgium. So we went to Germany and we did the Rhine trip, the Rizal Rhine trip with the Rizal family. Very inspiring for me to do that trip and see, because everything Rizal described in that book, for 99%, it's still there. So you can see the statues, you can see the castles Rizal described. It's quite interesting.
Wow. So are those building structures still in that places? If someone will follow that Rhine trip, can they see still up to now?
Yes, up to now, yes. Most of them. What I recall, for instance, Rizal described 2 statues of the Holy Mary. So I found them. So those 2, yeah, of course you have to find out where they are. But I found them. So if you are traveling around the Rhine, you can see those statues sitting on the boat. And Rizal described at least 10 statues and castles. So if Rizal said we take a turn to right and there I see that castle, the castle is still there.
Wow. So if anyone would like to follow the footsteps of Dr. Rizal, then I think the best advisor would be you.
If you say so.
Anyway, let's move on to our topic, which is the collection. How these objects arrived in Europe? How Rizal managed to send it in Europe? Who are the contacts, and where is now these collections located? Where are these collections located?
About what collection you are talking about? Which
Yeah,
collection?
because Rizal sent so many collections, objects from the Philippines going to Europe. So, who's the recipient of these collections? And eventually, well, how did it get to some places in Europe as like
Okay.
museums and yeah.
Okay, there are two important places where you can see Rizal artifacts. One is in Germany, Berlin, Anthropological Institute, and the other one is in České Budějovice, which is in what is now the Czech Republic. So let's go first to Berlin. During my Rizal research, I heard about the letter Rizal wrote to Berlin, to the Anthropological Institute. So I phoned the Anthropological Institute and asked them, is there a letter and are there objects Rizal sent to you? So I got a reply and they said, okay, the objects are still here. They are in a vault. And indeed, the letter is here. And the letter was written by Rizal from London. I think April, it's the same, April in 1898, he wrote that letter. And with that letter, he sent to a friend in Berlin 21 objects.
21
objects. Yes. So I phoned back and I said, are those 21 objects? Can I see them? Can I see the letter? So they said, okay, make an appointment. So the earliest time I could go, I went to that, I drove to Berlin, which is 800 kilometers drive from here. But I didn't matter.
How long?
This is about 10 hours drive.
Oh my.
So I went there and I was so surprised. I took with me the wife of the consul, the honorary consul in Brandenburg, Berlin. I took her with me and we went to see those objects. And really, the 21 objects are still there. So they were on the table, you could see everything, and it's incredible to see those objects Rizal sent from London to Berlin. And they are still there. They survived 2 world wars.
Yeah, and since that photos objects were sent to me yesterday, you sent it to me, so we could share it to our viewers right now. Okay, so let's do it. So Rizal collections in Europe. This photo. What's this?
Yes. Once, when I'm in the Philippines, I always go to visit the special Rizal places, meaning UST, National Library, the university, and I got aware of those girls you see on the photo. They are librarians from the National Library. So they contacted me and we made an appointment. Okay, I will. They were in Germany on a course, a 1-month course. And they were 4 days free, a long weekend. So I told them, okay, I pick you up in Germany, and I will bring you to České Budějovice, where the Rizal objects are located. So this is a picture. It's not Rizal related, but this is a Filipino object that they could see in that museum. That we are talking here now about České Budějovice in the Czech Republic.
Is this Berlin?
No, this is České Budějovice.
Wait, what about this one?
This is it. This is in Berlin. So I told you, Rizal sent 21 objects, and it's incredible how good they are preserved. They
Wow.
survived world wars. And this is one of the objects that I saw. I took my measurement so I could measure the clothes and everything. And this is the Baron, one of the
Yeah.
Rizal sent to Berlin.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the wife in front is the wife of the honorary consul, and the wife behind the lady with mask is my wife, and she showed us the Rizal objects. And the other wife, the other lady, she has a piece of cloth that Rizal sent over there.
This is still in Berlin, right?
They are still in Berlin, yes. They are in the vault, so you cannot see it in the ethnological museum. But if you make appointment and they agree and it's available, you can see it.
Oh, this is special collection. Huh?
Yes.
Another one.
This is another. It's a camisa that Rizal sent, so you can see how beautiful it still is. Rizal sent it in 1889. We are now so many years later, and it's still very well preserved.
Preserved 1889. It seems that this object is actually it's an indigenous costume. No?
Yeah,
it's the Tagalog blouse. No?
Yeah. Well, I call it a camisa, I think.
Yeah, camisa. But for me, I think it's very elaborate. No, so it might be coming from an indigenous culture.
Yeah. Okay.
What about this one?
So that's something very special, because with those objects, the museum, they made cards, and in the cards you can read in the cards it was sent from London. It was a gift from Dr. Rizal, and so on and so on. And they give a description. The description of these pieces, wooden pieces, they said this was used as toothbrush.
Toothbrush.
So apparently, that's what they wrote on that card. Apparently, this was used in the Philippines as toothbrush at that time, or before.
Oh.
In the early years.
I thought it's an insect. It's like an insect.
Yeah. Well, there are three different pieces of wood. That's something special.
Still part of the Rizal collection. Huh? Okay.
Yeah. This is the Rizal. Yeah.
Yes.
And this is, I think the name is Pulikan or something like that.
In Tagalog, I think this is like a gun?
Kalikut. No, it's a kalikut. It's kalikut. So you can open it. You can open it, and you can put something in it, and then push it, and then you can ripe it. So you can make from parts. You can make small parts, like we have. For instance, if you have pepper balls, you can put it in there, and then make the small pieces out of it. I think the name is Kalikut.
Kalikut.
Yeah.
Okay. What about this one?
What was called Pakani. It's a knife. It's a knife to cut rice. It's a knife, yes. Well, that's what was written on the card from the museum. So I guess this is there are two different kinds of knives. This is one of the knives in which it's written that it was a knife to cut rice.
Well, is this all these objects came from Dapitan or from Manila?
I don't know where he got them from. So I don't know how Rizal got all those objects. Did he bring them from the Philippines? You know, he 1889, he went back. 87, he went back. 88, he went back to Europe. Did he bring them? I don't know. Or they were sent to him afterwards. So I don't know how he brought them over here. The only thing I know is that he sent them from London to Berlin.
Oh. What about this one?
I forgot the name again. It's a lighter.
Lighter.
This is a lighter, yes. And the same he sent to Bloementritt.
To Blumentritt also.
Yeah.
Oh.
Bloementritt has one, and this is a lighter. Apparently, Rizal made himself.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's very. I'm so curious that we should try to light it up. So
Yes.
if it's
Yeah.
working or not.
Yeah. So the information I give you, they are written on the card. So I have seen the objects, and they show me the cards. And on the card, it was written, this was a lighter.
Lighter.
So you could.
So there's a
if
description
you-
in the card.
if you are a smoker, you can light your cigarette with that lighter.
Cigarette.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
Wow,
and
wow.
this is a very, very special one. This is a salakot. Very nice salakot. And I have seen the letter Rizal wrote from London to Berlin. He mentioned 21 objects. And this object was the only object Rizal wrote between brackets. He wrote it in German. Es gehört mir. So es gehört mir in German means it is mine. So this is the only one, which means from the 21 objects, this is the only one which was Rizal's. Probably he wore this when he was in the Philippines.
Oh,
He
yeah.
wrote, it is mine. So this is I think the most important object I have seen there. The salakot.
Well, I haven't seen a photo of Rizal wearing that.
Yeah, neither do I. But
Yeah.
it's special because he wrote, "This is mine," so it's his.
Imagine that. No, there's a collection in Berlin about this one.
Yeah.
So let's move on. What about this one?
Okay, that's something else. This is a story about Bloementritt. So if you read about Rizal and study about Rizal, inevitably you come to the name Bloementritt. So Bloementritt lived in Leitmeritz. Leitmeritz was at that time Austria-Hungarian Empire. Leitmeritz now in the Czech Republic. So Rizal was in correspondence with Bloementritt. Rizal's first letter he wrote from Heidelberg, 31st of July, 1886. He wrote to Bloementritt, and he wrote, I have been informed that you have published a lot of articles about the Philippines. I'm very interested in those articles. And he sent them a book. It's called Arithmetica. So he sent them the book, and a couple of weeks later, Rizal received an answer from Bloementritt that he was very well, that he was very happy to be in contact with the Filipino, and that was the start of the Rizal Bloementritt correspondence. So as I told you, the first letter was written the 31st of July, 1886, and the last letter Rizal wrote to Bloementritt the 29th of December, 1896. So more than 10 years. There's a correspondence from more than 10 years. The collection there is known. The collection was part of the collection of course, the Bloementritt collection. Now,
well, someone, yeah. It's like an enduring friendship. No, it's already 10 years, right? Until it's 1896 already, when before Rizal faced his martyrdom. He sent a letter to Bloementritt.
Yes. So because Bloementritt was his best friend, so he considered him as his father. His first letter, he was very polite. He wrote illustrious professor, and then it changed in dear friend. And the last years, his letters, he started with, my dear brother. So now coming back to this picture here, I got aware of a professor in Budiovice, Professor Viliazova. And she told me there will be an exposition on the Rizal objects, Blumentritt objects in České Budějovice. So she invited me in 1998, and I went there. This is what was exposed there. So on this, you can see there sketches Rizal made. Those are original sketches made by Rizal. You can see on the upper part.
I have a one of each of it. We could show it. No, wait.
Okay.
Like this.
This is a sketch. After Rizal died, Blumentritt received some Filipino revolutionists as visitors. One of them was Juan Luna. And why Juan Luna has been there twice in Lightbridge. This was in 99, and he made the sketch of Juan Luna. This is the sketch Luna made of Professor Blumentritt. And he was there with Felipe Agoncillo. And as you know, Felipe Agoncillo was the missionary to go to Paris for the Treaty of Paris. And unfortunately, he was not successful, but they were there together. In the collection on the right side there, in the collection, you have a lot of newspaper clippings. And this is a newspaper clipping where they talk about Professor Blumentritt.
Okay. Successors.
This is the visit with the two librarians. And this is the original Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas. So you can see the original size. And this Sucesos was dedicated to Blumentritt. That's the dedication.
It's original, no?
It's original, yes. Original Sucesos with the dedication from Rizal to Blumentritt.
And that's that's the annotation of Rizal's writing of Antonio de Morga, no? That's Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas, which I believe he learned when he was already age of 9, no? When I think Fyodor Jagor visited Calamba, no? And when he grew up and he went to London, he looked for this book and have it annotated and published in 1891. And this is in Paris. So this is the Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas.
Yes, where Rizal was in London. He went to the museum and he copied the Sucesos from the Morga. He copied it, not on the copy machine, but by hand. So
by hand, he copied it.
He copied
I want to see the original one. Do you think it's still existing? The manuscript of Rizal.
The manuscript, I've never seen. I know that the original book from the Morga, printed 1609, I believe, that was the original. It's still there in London.
In London.
Yeah. And this is to me the most precious I have seen in České Budějovice. So in České Budějovice, you can see a lot of objects, letters and postcards and so on about from Rizal. And this is the original copy of Rizal's last letter to Blumentritt.
Oh my. What's the date?
The date 29th of December 1896. So the day before he was shot. He was still thinking on Blumentritt, and he wrote his last letter. And National Library has a copy of it. So National Library has but this is the original. To me, this is a very special letter because Rizal wrote some things in that letter which makes the person who Rizal is.
Mm-hmm.
So as usual, Rizal wrote his letters in German language. It's
Mhm.
amazing if you see Rizal's first letter, 31st of July, 1886. Rizal arrived in
Mhm.
Heidelberg the 3rd of February, 1886.
Mhm.
So only a couple of months later, he wrote his first letter to Blumentritt, and it was written in the German language. So the whole correspondence. So there are 211 letters. Blumentritt Rizal, of which 123 letters Rizal to Blumentritt. And that is his last letter. So I can recite the letter in German and in Filipino, in German and in Tagalog,
Yeah.
and in
Maybe in
English.
Tagalog. Could you
No,
recite it?
I will not do it. I will not do it in Tagalog. I will do it in English.
In English.
So,
What's the content?
so he wrote, Professor Ferdinand Blumentritt, my dear brother, when you receive this letter, I shall be dead.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow at 7 o'clock, I shall be shot.
Mm-hmm.
But I am innocent of the crime of rebellion. That's one of the points which makes it so special for me. Rizal writes here, but I am innocent of the crime of rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
I have read all Rizal's writings. I read everything about Rizal. You cannot find a lie. Rizal did not write lies. Rizal made mistakes. So there are several mistakes in his writings, but he's human. But here he writes, but I am innocent of the crime of rebellion. And then he goes on, I'm going to die with a tranquil conscience. Farewell, my best and dearest friend, and never think ill of me. Fort Santiago, the 29th of December, 1896, Jose Rizal. And then he wrote, regards to the whole family, Doña Rosa, Loleng, Conrad, Friedrich. So this is the Rizal family. And then the second important thing is on the left side, he wrote on the margin, I leave you a book as my remembrance. So Rizal sent a book to Blumentritt. Now we know that the book and the letter arrived to Blumentritt. Otherwise, we should not have this letter. The book, I was not able to find. I've looked in the Philippines for the book. I've looked in Czech. It's not there. But Rizal wrote in the margin, I leave you a book as my remembrance. And in that, Rizal underlined words and sentences. So those words and sentences were Rizal's last thoughts he sent to me. And as the book was written in German, so if the Spaniards wanted to check something, they were not able to do it because it was written in German. I know the title of the book. I know who printed it. I know what date, but I was not able to find the book. So if somebody can give me a hint, I will try to find
Very
it.
hard.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we don't have enough time. I will show more about photos.
Okay.
Okay. What about this
So
one?
those are the sketches, Rizal, which are there. On the left side, you see a house, and it is said that this is the house where Rizal started to write his El Fili. This was in 1887. So the Nulli was published in March 87, and here he already started end of 1886 when he was in, this is Calamba, when he was in Calamba, he already started the Fili. On the right side, this is an own sketch of Rizal. Rizal traveled from Berlin with Maximo Viola to visit Blumentritt and Leitmeritz. And he was scared that Blumentritt would not recognize him. Which is very strange because a train at that time, if the train stops in a small town Leitmeritz, I think you will recognize two Asian people. But Rizal made this sketch and sent it to Blumentritt, and he said, when I step out of the train, this is me.
Imagine that, because there's no photo then. So Rizal sketched himself, huh?
The sketch of himself, sent to Blumentritt. before he
I,
went to Leibniz.
I still remember when Sir Lasir asked you how he will recognize me when I get off the train in Mannheim, and he told me, you will recognize him. He's a typical Filipino.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So let's move on. We don't have enough time.
Yeah, okay.
That's yes.
So
We have three letters here. Yeah.
those are envelopes and postcards results sent to Bloementritt. The originals are there. There's a whole story how it comes over there, but if we don't have much time, I cannot explain it. But those are originals postcards results sent to the Rizal family. To go very fast, Rizal family afterwards sold the Rizal Bloementritt collection to the Philippines. That's how the Rizal's letters are now in the National Library. Except, of course, those postcards and the last letter, for instance, they kept from the Moon. They didn't sell it to the Philippines. They were sold in 1935 to the National Library. The Bloementritt collection, of part of it.
Bloementritt collection. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the last one. But let's move in the first part. Because this one. This is also part of the Leitmeritz collection, right?
Yeah, the first time I went I was invited by Dr. Vija Zovev to go to see the exhibition of the Rizal Bloementritt, and this pictures I took 1998. There was an exhibition. It's the only exhibition they had in Leitmeritz with the Rizal objects.
Imagine, no limitang rin, El Filibusterismo, both with dedication to Ferdinand Blumentritt, right?
So the 3 Rizal books are there with dedication to Blumentritt.
Wow.
It was the first time I saw them. I was very surprised to see this. Interesting.
Oh, that's good. So I have some questions here. No, okay, I'll put it down first. We have some question in our viewers. No, the letter of Blumentritt was in Spanish. The one with a copy at the Rizal Shrine. I am confused now. Which letter was in German?
All letters Rizal wrote to Blumentritt are in German. So you have seen the last letter he wrote was in German. The first letter he wrote was in German. So all the letters Rizal sent to Blumentritt were in the German language. When Rizal wrote letters to his Kababayans and to other scholars, it was mostly written in Spanish.
Letter to Blumentritt was in Spanish. So maybe
the letter in Blumentritt, normally all his letters are in German. Some parts in a letter. So I have a letter, or I have read a letter from Rizal's letter. German, parts in English, parts in Spanish, parts in English. But normally his letters to Blumentritt are always in German.
Always in German. Yeah. So maybe they should check this out. No, if this is a new one, or maybe a translation. We'll see. Then another question: would the repositories he visited be willing to lend or return the items to the Philippines? From Juvie, yeah.
I think no. This belongs to the Czech Republic. It's a whole story how it came over there, but I don't think they will give it to the Philippines.
Yeah. Okay. What else? Well, this is Yuffie, no? Good evening po, watching from QC. Sir Lucien was very kind to us when we were preparing the current exhibits in NCP Museo ni Rizal sa Dapitan. No? He shared some of the photos he showed tonight. No? Question to him, would the I think he already answered this one. No?
I think it will be very difficult. I think Berlin Ethnological Museum will not give them to the Philippines. The ones in Czech Republic, I don't think they will. The Blumentritt family tried to get they were confiscated. That's the story behind it from the Blumentritt family. And the Blumentritt, Ernesto Blumentritt, I met him. He was the grandchild of Blumentritt. I met him quite a few times. He died at the age of 103. And he tried, he was very angry with the Czech Republic because he wanted to obtain his belongings, which means it was from the family, but it was confiscated in the Second World War, and he was not able to get it. So I don't think they will give it to the Philippines as well.
Oh. You mentioned earlier that Rizal committed mistakes in his publications, but
Yes.
not lying. What have you identified some mistakes in his works?
Well, in his Rhine trip, I remember in his Rhine trip, he made a mistake in date. That's a minor error. But he made a big mistakes in his El Filibustrismo. With the name Gomez. He named Gomez Francisco to the name of
really?
to the name of his father. Yeah, if you see the facsimile, I have copies here of the facsimile. So Rizal made a mistake there, naming him Francisco instead of Mariano Gomez. So that is one of those mistakes. I have seen another letter of Rizal written in French, when he said, where did he got Noli Me Tangere from? And he said, I got it from the Bible, St. Luke. That's in the letter Rizal wrote. As we know, it was not St. Luke, it was forgot it now. But for sure, it was not St. Luke. So that's one of those mistakes. And there are some other small mistakes Rizal made. As I told you, he was human. He was very acceptable. He was very intelligent, but he was human. St. John. It was St. John.
St. John.
So
Okay.
Chapter 53, you can read in St. John that Jesus said, do not touch me not. And Rizal mistake made St. Luke of it. That's human being, Rizal. Although it was
especially those.
Some other ones, but I don't remind them at the moment. But they are small mistakes.
I think, well, this is not part of the collection, but I just want to ask you to explain something. We still have time. The rediscovery about Rizal in Europe, and when we are speaking of Lucien Spittael, we are referring to your rediscovery in Belgium, because especially in the house of his girlfriend. Susan Jacobi. So maybe you could explain this something for
yes,
our.
I've done some research, of course, in Belgium. My most research was done in Germany. So I went to every archive where Rizal passed and so on. But in Belgium, Rizal stayed in Belgium 2 times, once in 1890 and once in 1891. And he stayed in the house of the Jacobi family. Now, if you read the biographies of Rizal, it's written that Rizal had a relation with Suzanne Jacobi. Well, that name is wrong. That name is wrong. The house was owned by 2 sisters, Suzanne and Marie Jacobi. But they had a niece in that house, and the niece was 18 years old. And her name was not Suzanne Jacobi, because her aunt was Suzanne Jacobi, but her name was Suzanne Till.
Suzanne Till.
So I have the papers. I have seen the books in the archives, and in that house there were 3 women living, and there is a letter. They don't exist anymore, or they disappeared. I don't know, but there's a letter Suzanne Till wrote to Blumentritt, to Rizal when he was in Madrid, and she wrote and signed the letter with S.T. So if her name was Suzanne, Jacobi, it should have been SJ, but she signed ST.
Mhm.
And as I found in the archives, T, Tango.
Mhm.
T. So
Yeah.
if I found in the archives, in the books, that Suzanne Till was living in the same house, 18
Mhm.
years. Remember, there are 8 or 9 girlfriends from Rizal. If you look at their age, they are all around 18, 19, 20 or something like that. So why should he
Mhm.
get now in contact with Suzanne Till, who was 45, and her aunt was 54, and she was 18.
18.
This is
So
of the discoveries I made in Belgium about. Well, it's just a minor thing, but the name should have been changed. And I have the papers at home. I showed them to Dr. Ocampo, Ambeto Campo, and he has seen it, and he said, "Okay, this is now Suzanne Till, the name."
we have to revise. I think we have to revise now the biography of Dr. Rizal based on the logical interpretation
Yeah,
on those you discovered in the archives of Belgium.
yeah.
No?
So the only proof for me, to me, is there is a letter written, signed by S for Suzanne, and a T. That's Till.
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
else could it have been? The T is there, and not a J for Jacobi. And I've
Yeah,
been
yeah.
in the Czech, I've been in the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg, so the whole family, Jacobi, came from the Grand Duchy. I've been there, and I've
Mhm.
seen the papers over there. There was a big family. One of the sisters married a Mr. Till, and the daughter of that sister went to Brussels to live with
Mhm.
her aunts in Brussels in that boarding house.
So Saint Till is with the royal ancestry.
No, 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 no. They lived in the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg. They were a normal family.
Mhm.
They were Jews that I found out in Luxembourg, but they were not of. They were normal people.
Mhm. It's in order. We have a question. Could it be the letter T was written to look like letter J?
Well, I already had that question. Yes, that could be. But how comes that in the books in that I have seen that you have there a Suzanne Till?
Yeah.
So if it is Suzanne T and there is a Suzanne Till living there, it is Suzanne
Mhm.
Till.
Yeah.
I had a question
Yeah.
as well about that, Suzanne Till. Well, Rizal wrote a letter, and in that letter, she wrote to Rizal in Madrid, "You little naughty boy." So the question was asked me, how can a girl from 18 years write a letter like that and tell him, "You little naughty boy"? So, okay,
Mhm.
I don't know what happened between the two of them. But my proof is there is a letter. The original you cannot find. It disappeared. But it is
Mhm.
ST. And in the books,
Mhm.
you have the name in the same house, Suzanne
Mhm.
Till. So that's my proof.
Santil.
Yeah.
So it corroborates. Another one, follow up with Yuffie. No, speaking of Miss Till, is she the one in the photos of Rizal's romantic partners or Miss
Yes.
Jacobi?
Yes. This is Suzanne Till.
There's a photo existing.
Yes, the photo, I think the photo is in, uh, I, the photo is whether in National Library or National Historical Commission of the Philippines.
Mhm.
I think
But
it could be
that's
in the
the
National
usual
Library.
photo of Susan. We all know that that photo is Susan Jacobi, but
Yeah,
that's not it. It's Susan Till, right?
it's Suzanne Till. Yeah, but everybody called it, well, if you see the age, she was 18. If you look at the picture, she looks maybe a little bit older, but Suzanne Jacobi was 45 and Marie was 54. So those
Uh-huh.
are rather, I don't want to say older ladies, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Oh my God. I think we don't have enough time already. I think we should have another round of guesting for you, Sir Lucian, because you have so many sharings to do for this program. No? There are so many interested viewers on your revelations. Yeah. So I think we don't have enough time, no? Maybe any message from the Filipinos here who would like to go to abroad and conduct research about Rizal. Any advice or any suggestions on our viewers? You have the floor, sir.
I would tell them, try to get in contact with local people. For instance, the Knights of Rizal, locally, who can help you and who can bring you around and make appointments in museums, and so on and so on. Because it's very hard otherwise to look for something about Rizal.
Yeah.
Because Rizal is unknown in Europe. Like Bloementritt is unknown in the Czech Republic. If you ask in the Czech Republic who is Ferdinand Bloementritt, they will not know. If you go to the Philippines and you ask who is Ferdinand Bloementritt, 99% of the people will ask you, oh yes, he was the friend of Rizal. Because you learned it at school.
Oh, yes. Okay, so I think we're done, Sir Lucien, no? So, we will have another round, maybe in the near future, especially during Rizal time. But we are very happy that you're our guest tonight, no? Because it's in commemoration of our martyrdom of the Philippine national hero, few days after December 30. Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much. Happy New Year. But please note, Happy New Year. Yeah.
And I will be at the Philippine Embassy for the martyrdom of Dr. Jose Rizal, the 30th of December coming.
Is there any wreath-laying ceremony?
The Knights of Rizal are going to the embassy every 19th of June and 30th of December in commemoration of Dr. Jose Rizal.
Okay, so good luck. And we will, of course, that's simultaneous because we have a different time zone.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Sir Lucien.
Okay.
I'll see you virtually and hopefully personally. Okay.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye. So ayan po mga kababayan, nakausap natin at talaga namang ang daming alam tungkol sa ating pambansang bayani Dr. Jose Rizal, no? Bihira na po yung ganyan at talagang even up to now, lahat ng mga Rizal statue, ini-inventory po niya yan, no? Talagang sabi nga ng misis niya si Madeline ay pinagseselosa na nga daw niya si Rizal kasi masyadong no? In love si Sir Lucien sa ating pambansang bayaning Dr. Jose Rizal. Yun, no? So sana po marami tayong natutunan at kung meron kayong mga tanong, question, pwede niyo namang ibato yan sa ating Facebook. Ito mismong program na to para siguro masagot din kayo ni Sir Lucien sa mga detalyadong bagay na hindi ko kayang sagutin, no? Okay, so maraming salamat po. Kita-kits po tayo sa December 30 sa Luneta. Siyempre, shout out sa Order of the Knights of Rizal Supreme Council, no? Nandiyan si Sir Munding de Rosario, ating bagong Supreme Commander, at sa Kalipunan, no, ang miyembro ng bagong Supreme Council natin. Magandang gabi po. At siyempre, nandiyan din, magkakaroon ng Rizal Walk, di ba? Karaniwan Rizal Walk 'yan mula sa Fort Santiago, papunta po yan sa Luneta. At isang malaki event po yan, pinagpaplanuhan po yan. Bukas may meeting pa rin kami ng TWG, kaya abangan po natin. So, okay po, maraming salamat po sa pagtutok sa atin at abangan po ninyo ang mga programa natin. Mapapanood din nyo yan, syempre, sa YouTube natin, sa CSC TV, at mag-share kayo at mag-like para naman tayo makausad-usad na. Sabi nga, New Year na, no? So subscribe na po tayo. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay po tayo lahat. Mga kabayani, inaanyayahan namin ang lahat na i-like at mag-subscribe sa ating YouTube channel. At huwag kalimutan, pindutin ang ating notification bell para makatanggap kayo ng mga bagong video ng ating programa. Ang programang ito ay mapapanood din natin ng simultaneous broadcast sa ATC Channel 31 ng Best TV. Ako ang inyong host, si Doc Manny, ang inyong kabayani.